Hello everyone, I'm Freaky. Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Death Battles, Magneto vs Tetsuo. Now, if you guys haven't seen this video, please go and watch that video first. This was that. Come back, watch this, and let's continue. Okay, I know of Magneto from X-Men Evolution and the other X-Men show that was from the 80s, 90s, and okay, the thing is, I know that Magneto is powerful. He can bend any metal to his will, and he can also I think he can also bend the core of the Earth. I think, and I think that's really it when it comes to Magneto. And I know his weakness is like plastic and also because it doesn't like necessarily like he can't do it with plastic. Anyways, now when it comes to Tetsuo, he's from like Akira. He's a very powerful esper or somebody who has psychic powers. Well, it's kind of something like that. Now, I've seen the film, but I haven't read the comic, and I think the manga comic or something is completely different. Different endings and all that stuff. And the thing is, even though I've seen many times, I'm not really sure what the power, what sort of power Tetsuo has. In fact, I'm not really sure what Akira's power is. So, I mean, here's the thing. I love the movie. I really do. I mean, I've seen it many times. But the thing is, I've never really went down into to a breakdown as to how powerful these guys are from Akira. That's the thing. I mean, I was only interested in the story, the violence and stuff. I mean, I love watching it as that. But I never really saw it as what's the word, versatile material. But there you go. I mean, so when it comes to this, I mean, Death Ball actually teach me a few more things about Akira, and they'll teach me more about Magneto. So without further ado, let's get to watching. So this is Magneto versus Tetsuo, and 3, 2, 1, and go.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by HelloFresh and Bespoke Post.
Hello. This is gonna be fun.
Magneto, Marvel's mutant master of magnetism.
Tetsuo Shima, Akira's telekinetic terror of Neo-Tokyo.
These two maestros of kinesis have ignited revolution not just in their worlds, but also the very mediums they exist within.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Woo! Give me a sec.
In the short duration of modern civilization, likely no conflict tested humanity more than the Second World War. In the primary Marvel 616 universe, this fact is no different, especially to the Eisenhart family and their only son.
You may know him as Magnus, Eric, or Max, but if you ask him, he'd say his true name is Magneto.
As a Jewish child in Nazi Germany, Magneto's early life was,
Boo, Nazis.
Well, extremely traumatic.
Even after eventually escaping certain death with his future wife, misfortune always followed wherever he went.
Thanks to his unexpected mutation called the X gene, the mark of a superhuman. After settling down in Russia with his new family, the KGB quickly found out about this quirk, so they burned his house down with his own daughter inside.
Naturally, he snapped and killed them all. I don't blame him. I'd do that too. Too bad his wife didn't get it and ditched him though. But that's when Magneto made a choice. Since humans hurt him his entire life, he'd do the same to them in the name of mutants everywhere.
At first, Magneto turned to the telepathic powerhouse Charles Xavier and his fledgling team of heroes. But his new friend wasn't thrilled with the idea of, subjugating the human race. So, Magneto formed his own team of mutants, the Brotherhood.
Magneto can telekinetically move, bend, and reshape any metal he's aware of. Bullets,
Neat.
vehicles, buildings, you name it. Even himself when he manipulates his personal magnetic field for flight and energy barriers.
Neat.
Magnetic kinesis is far more versatile than it would appear at first glance.
Yeah.
The blood in your body has iron in it. The air has traces of lead and mercury. Whole mountains are lined with metallic ore. The Earth itself is surrounded by a literal magnetic field.
So many toys for Maggie to play with. He can detect magnetic fields at such a huge range, he can even pinpoint Earth's magnetic rays while stranded on a planet in another galaxy. And guess what? He was able to use those rays to pull himself back to Earth in a single day.
His range is even more remarkable than that. Did you know that in 1820, physicist Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electric currents, like those of electrons and protons and atoms, produce their own magnetic fields? Magneto can fine-tune his control to affect these very subatomic particles. Dummy here will illustrate such a particle, with positively charged protons and negative electrons.
Okay.
My life is as meaningless as an atom is small.
So what you're saying is Magneto could, like, yank one of those out?
Correct, potentially changing an atom's entire chemical makeup. However, neutrons do not have a charge, and without the ability to adjust those to accommodate the change in atomic mass, the atom would become unstable and...
Finally!
do that. Magneto's violent protest against humankind clashed with Xavier's peaceful reconciliation, not unlike the ideologies taught by Malcolm X and Dr. King, by whom Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were inspired. Magneto would spend most of his career pushing Xavier away to prove his philosophies superior, which meant doing battle with Xavier's school of thought, quite literally.
And Baldy's mind powers are no joke, but thanks to Magneto's psionic repelling helmet, Professor X couldn't touch him. Magneto survived Cyclops' earth-splitting lasers, absorbed the power of the sun to battle Iron Man, ripped the adamantium skeleton out of Wolverine's body, and even taken on Hercules himself. You know, the Greek legend, Zero to Hero? The guy who held up the skies of Olympus for Atlas? That Hercules.
Seems sensible. Magneto once used the Earth's magnetic field to overwhelm the Phoenix Force, which can effortlessly destroy planets, let alone far more.
Hell, if he really wanted to, Magneto could totally just fling the Earth off its axis.
It's entirely possible he may have eventually resorted to just that. Over time, it became clear Magneto's war was doing far more harm than good for his fellow mutants, however well-intentioned he may have been at first.
Luckily, he later realized he was going a bit overboard and began reevaluating his perspective. Good for you, Mags. It's really tough to recognize when you're the baddie.
It took time and patience not just from Magneto, but also from his peers. Yet eventually, his path was completely changed. He even became a leader for Xavier's X-Men.
But don't let his new goody two-shoes ways fool you. Whenever there's a threat to mutants, you can bet Magneto will be there to annihilate it. Forever, by any means necessary.
Neat. Okay, so here we go. That's interesting.
Oh! Hello Fresh.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients.
Hate these things. Can I just do it at the beginning so that we have to deal with it, this sort of stuff?
To make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
HelloFresh now has 30 dinner recipes to choose from every single week. That's the most choices of any meal kit.
Foolproof step-by-step recipes mean a joyful cooking experience and a stress-free summer. Plus, HelloFresh cuts back on time spent in the kitchen with meals ready in around 30 minutes or less.
HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than dining
Man,
at a restaurant.
I'm not fresh. I'm freaky.
Grocery shopping. That's money back in your pocket.
HelloFresh has definitely saved me on more than one occasion. Mad scientists like myself don't always have the time to do all their own cooking from scratch.
All right.
Go to HelloFresh.com/DeathBattle16 and use code DeathBattle16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
That's HelloFresh.com/DeathBattle16 and use the code DeathBattle16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Over 30 years ago, a new type of bomb was set off over Tokyo, and 9 hours later, began the Third World War.
Ooh.
Welcome to 2030, or 2019 if you're watching the anime. The buildings are taller, the motorcycles are cooler, and the future is brighter. Oh, wait, not really. If you find yourself in the Capsule Gang, you'll meet Shotaro Kaneda.
The Capsule Gang.
Who's like your textbook anime Chad. Gets the ladies, beats the baddies, and cops the sweetest rigs.
Neat.
Man, I need to get me one of those.
And then there's the little brother of the group, Kaneda's best friend, Tetsuo Shima. He's, well...
The exact opposite. A total wimp. As a kid, Tetsuo in his college thesis forehead got bullied for being the new kid at the orphanage. That's until Big Bro Kaneda came to the rescue.
Eventually, the two went to vocational school together and formed the Capsules. But Tetsuo was never satisfied with Kaneda being the leader of the pack. Tetsuo desired more than anything to be top dog.
Oh, I can just see that monkey's paw curling in my mind. Or that kid walking down the street. Shit! Tetsuo, watch out! You're gonna... That definitely should have killed him. But since it didn't, Tetsuo earned himself a ticket to military confinement. Turns out they had an under-the-table program for developing child superweapons.
In the same program that backfired and jump-started the war, Tetsuo became Japan's Esper number 41.
He may not have been a natural with bikes, baddies, or babes, but this telekinesis stuff hit different. He walked out of that hospital ward effortlessly flying, reading minds, and blending people into strawberry jelly. Tetsuo got what he wanted. Power, along with the hunger for more of it.
A hunger that used to only be satiated with drugs. And not just any gateway drug, pills so potent that a single gram of the stuff could kill you.
So, pretty bad. Kinda reminds me of college days, huh, Snow Wizard?
Tetsuo's main ability is his constantly increasing psionic energy, growing
Neat.
more and more powerful over time. This is due to Tetsuo's link to, quote, the memories of the universe, end quote. It's weird.
Either way, Tetsuo leveled up from lame gangbuster to certified badass. This guy is a walking natural disaster. His telekinesis can shake the planet, easily cause earthquakes over a dozen miles below the surface. He can summon psychic barriers for defense and crush foes with friggin' gravity wells. He can dart around as a literal bolt of lightning or even teleport in an instant.
Tetsuo's telekinesis can be so precise he can target and obliterate specific parts of the body. He can heal severe wounds quickly, but even after losing a whole limb, he can craft a new one using whatever nearby materials he wants.
With these powers, Top Dog Kaneda didn't matter anymore. Who needed his approval? Tetsuo tasted that good shit and he was hooked. And when he found out another Esper named Akira could deal him even more power, he rampaged through Tokyo to find him.
And this is where versions of the story differ.
Okay.
Spoilers ahoy!
You may be familiar with the 1988 animation, where Akira had been dissected for research.
Yeah.
However, in the original manga, Akira is not only alive, but even more powerful.
Once that little runt nuked Tokyo, Tetsuo would erect the Great Tokyo Empire with Akira and himself as its leaders. But he ended up just abusing the position for endless sex and inflating his ego.
With Kaneda's rebellion at his front
Why
door,
couldn't they
Tetsuo
make the anime
took
that?
for the worse. He had to fight.
Tetsuo's defeated other powerful Espers, dodged light-speed lasers, and jumped to the moon faster than anyone could blink. And then punched a big
Why
old
couldn't
hole
they
in it.
continue the anime?
Ask,
I mean, that's great.
Wouldn't that mess up gravity on Earth? You would be right, because it totally did. Screwed the planet, I guess. Stupid moon.
Which brings us to Tetsuo's folly. His abuse of his powers spiraled until he lost control. Unfortunately for Kaneda's rebellion, this did not make Tetsuo an easier enemy to confront. Exactly opposite, in fact, has Tetsuo painfully mutated into an unstoppable behemoth.
Yep, that's not totally disturbing at all.
I'm happy to say the manga's version is even more disturbing.
I mean, I know babies can be monsters, but that's a whole nother level.
It is pain incarnate. I can relate. Another Esper described Tetsuo's struggle as ego death, which has multiple definitions, but in this case is likely symbolic of the version attributed to drug use.
Yeah, it's described as a shedding of one's own identity, like how LSD can emulate a wild out-of-body experience, and you come back with a new perspective. Though this is maybe a little more extreme. In fact, you could say Tetsuo was shedding his human body to play with the powers of a god.
I wish I could shed out of my body. But in this case, Tetsuo going full out-of-body meant becoming a mound of raw, ever-expanding energy.
Which almost nuked Tokyo all over again. And those explosions are not normal. I would know.
Top scientists in both the manga and animated versions describe these explosions as births of a new universe.
Given its properties of nuclear fusion and proton
I wish they would
collapse,
have continued the
Tetsuo's mutated
anime.
form was likely creating a big bang.
You know, the thing that started our whole universe?
Right, in the manga, it instead ended the Espers and their abilities once and for all. A testament that humankind is unsuited to wield the powers of the divine.
Though the anime's even more trippy. Thanks to Akira and his buddies, Tetsuo got so high on ego death, he ascended time-space to become god of a new universe. Kinda worth it, right?
And yet, Kaneda kept his empire up in his honor, now as the Great Akira Empire. Ironically, in death, Tetsuo finally received the attention he so desperately craved.
Seriously, why could... You know, I would have totally would have loved to have watched that. You know, for them to like, continue like the anime instead of like having that anime ending. I mean, Oh, never knew that was happening in the manga. I really didn't.
American barbecue rub, perfect for a true carnivore like myself.
No matter what you have going on
For years, I always
this
thought
season,
that
Box of
the
Awesome
anime just ended, you know, like I just thought it was like an anime only thing. But later on, I find out it's a manga.
for summer.
To get started,
I find out it's a manga, and then there's more of it. I mean, jeez Louise!
Great box of awesome for you.
I don't think they'll be able to emulate the animation like they did like from like years ago. It'd just be like, you know, all smooth and all that stuff. They wouldn't be able to do it these days.
Small up and coming brand.
It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to like read the manga and then watch the anime.
That's boxofawesome.com, code DEATHBATTLE for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, code DEATHBATTLE.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Here we go.
Even in Japan, they fail to recognize our superiority.
Wrong country, Grandpa! You're an Akira turf now!
Holy crap baskets, here we go.
You're dead meat!
Okay, who do I think is gonna win? I'm gonna go.
Calling child!
I'm gonna go.
I make the rules around here!
I'm gonna say Tetsuo. Although like Magneto's got more experience, so it's a 50-50 chance.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with Magneto.
Parlor tricks for the master of magnetism.
Uh-oh. That builds Magnus?
I'll kill you! Your history, scumbag!
Holy crap baskets. Come on. I don't even know who I'm yeah, Tetsuo's got this. No, has he? Has he?
I believe I've had enough tantrums to last a lifetime.
Oh shoot nuggets. Oh crap. Oh god.
Listen, welcome. I'll handle this on my own. Not die! Hurts. Help me.
What? What the hell? What just happened?
Poor child.
He's done.
Thank you.
He put him out of his misery.
You are welcome.
That was mental. I didn't even know it was.
Tetsuo! Oh, God. Yeah. I'm never doing that again.
Tetsuo's esoteric telekinesis and other bizarre abilities
Could kill
certainly gave
without
Magneto
his
pause,
shield.
but the Master of Magnetism had greater control over his foe.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie. Tetsuo cratering the moon was insane, but Magneto punched Iron Man with the force of the sun. And while Tetsuo jumped all the way to the moon, Magneto could move across galaxies.
Against Tetsuo in his human form, Magneto obviously held a sizable advantage in power and speed.
But stats aren't all that matters. With his precise telekinesis, Tetsuo could just target Magneto's organs. GG, right?
Yes, but Magneto had similar skills. There are very few substances on Earth that lack any metallic or magnetic component, and Magneto is very creative with his powers.
Which he could use to predict Tetsuo's teleportation and even shut down his telekinesis. And his scraps with Xavier prove he could handle Tetsuo's messing with his head. The biggest challenge for Magneto was when Tetsuo's gross mutated power came into play.
Especially given how the detonations from this form were compared to that of a Big Bang. Although the authenticity of that observation is questionable. In truth, the Big Bang was a sudden expansion of matter on a universal scale, whereas Tetsuo's explosions are more akin to nuclear blasts, clearly intentional given the post-war symbolism of the Akira story.
The whole creating an alternate universe bit wasn't even part of the original material, so we can't exactly call it canon.
But let's just say the comparison wasn't superfluous. Let's say Tetsuo did in fact cause a Big Bang capable of creating or destroying an entire universe, alternate or otherwise.
Turns out Magneto had the tools to stop that too. Helmet Head could overpower Hercules, who was strong enough to hold up the skies of Olympus, which is literally heaven and an alternate universe.
This doesn't necessarily mean Magneto could easily destroy a universe with a snap of his fingers, but it does prove he can match a similar level of power.
Okay.
And context is everything. Tetsuo's Big Bang eruption specifically exhibited proton collapse, meaning its atomic structure was primarily an unstable mess of neutrons and electrons. And Magneto has detected and commanded unstable electrons before. This means Magneto had every means available to take control over this Big Bang.
Okay.
Damn, and I thought he could just move some metal around. It's like the question posed by some of the greatest prophets of our time. Fucking magnets. How do they even work?
Magneto's astonishing power and intelligent control over all things magnetism triumphed in the end.
Tetsuo pushed his luck, but didn't
I don't know
have
about
the
this one.
metal to pull off the win.
The winner is Magneto.
Badass.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you'd like to directly support the whole Death Battle team,
That was mental.
click that join button and consider becoming a member. We'd really appreciate it. Hope you like the next one.
Okay, so we've got Hercules versus Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong! I should watch that. Oh, well. I was conflicted with this one. I mean, not only have I learned there's more to the story in the manga, but I mean, I wasn't really rooting for anybody really, but at the same time, I can't help but feel I'm just conflicted with this one. It's like it's just one of those things you think, okay, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. At the same time, Tetsuo should have had the advantage, but at the same time, I can understand. Oh, it's just one of those things. Sad. So, if there's anything you guys want me to react to, just leave in the comments below, and I will get to the video as soon as I can. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. And please don't forget to check out my other social medias. Please go and check out my alternative video platforms: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Twitch, and please come and hang out on my Discord server. We can play games, have a movie night or a series night, or you can watch me play a few games. And if you guys have any suggestions of any videos you want me to react to, or any video ideas in general, you can tell me on my Discord. I'm also on Twitter, Gab, Getter, and Paula. I'm on Locals, Tumblr, Minds, and if you guys want to support me, please go and check out my Subscribe Star. It's like Patreon, but better. All these things are in the description box below, so please go and check them out and subscribe to them. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.